Essence
House After Show. What up?
Hey.
Welcome to Essence House After Show. This is Chapter 8. We only have 2 episodes left. Wow. So this episode is titled Le Musée de l'Essence.
Nice.
I'm your host, Jess, and joining me, as always, are the creators of the Essence House. Wait, Eric?
Hey.
And Chuck. Oh, you can't even see me.
What's up?
Chapter 8.
This is a
So,
big one.
Yep.
you have, I guess we'll just hop right in because at this point, people know what this is. So, in the beginning of the episode, we're basically dropped in with Tristan right by the World Trade Centers.
Yeah, that's so. I'm gonna call myself out on that one and say that was my bad. The thing was that when we were in, I think it was episode 5, I was really meaning, and we had talked about it, and that was something we really wanted to do, was have Tristan have a moment with the Twin Towers, and I just got into such a run that it didn't come up, and I didn't realize till afterwards. And so I was like, how am I going to get it in there without making it feel too wedged? And so it came into this episode, and it felt like it really kind of kicked things off and also gave it some depth right away.
Yeah, I really liked that. It was cool because I never thought too much about it again after that episode where you didn't use it, and it was fun that it got worked in. Well, I mean, fun isn't really even the right word, but it was poignant.
And so an interesting thing happens to Tristan. A man comes up to him, and then the man comes up to him and says, "Oh, you see it too." So, which leads us to believe, is this just a regular street crazy guy, or is this guy a time traveler too?
You know, we play a lot on the show, but we don't do a lot of fake outs. That was like a big, awesome fake out.
Right. That was a fake out. You know what? It came from, there's a song by Slipknot that I love, and it's called Eyeless. And there's this really, really weird quotation in there that says, you can't see California without Marlon Brando's eyes. And someone asked them, like, where the hell did that come from? And they were like, we were walking down through LA and this crazy dude was yelling that. And we just thought it was such a really cool quotation that we wanted to use it. But so he did save it for a song and he used it. But yeah, so I love that quote and the story behind it. And so I've been listening to that song and it really got me excited. And so I kind of got into that rhythm and I went, oh, cool. You know what? I could do this little fun fake out. Because again, like he said, we hadn't done any kind of fake outs. Everything that mattered. And I thought, why can't something not matter? You know, like
until season 2 when we find out that he really was a time traveler.
yeah, that it really all mattered.
He was part of the Essence House, and he's actually like a cousin.
He's an old school guard.
He had the job before Barnabas.
He's
Actually,
Barnabas later on.
Actually, pretty soon we find out who had the job before Barnabas. How's that for a tease?
That's a really good tease.
Is that in episode 9?
That is episode 9.
Good.
So should we go into, do you want me to keep recapping?
Yeah, why don't you do a recap?
So, oh wow. I'm trying to remember the whole episode. So we had that. He was in the car. Oh yeah, and of course, then we got to meet that strange ghostly creature that ended up scaring the crap out of him.
Where did I feel like I wrote a shit ton of notes.
The sound effects for that part scared the crap out of me.
I honestly, when I wrote that, I was so jazzed for the sound effects. And then when it came through, I was like, yes, he killed it. He killed it. Like, I'm being such a jerk when I write. I aim to have moments where he has to do something, and he always makes it way better than I heard it in my head. I basically treat Eric's sound effects now like I would an artist from one of my comics.
Nice.
Where I'm just like, I don't even know how you're gonna draw this, dude. Go to town, and then suddenly they do something, and you're like, that's ridiculous. I love that. So that's how I've started treating that. So yeah, the sound effects were killer for that. Then we had the little fender bender that Tristan gets into. He ends up driving over to Barnabas's. He and Tim kind of get into a little bit, but they figure it out. And then of course he speaks with Barnabas. We learn about the wastes and what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we've been holding on since day one. So that was a really cool thing to be able to drop. And then we had the Tristan got his envelope. And then they realized we got in touch with the museum. We heard about them and how they have some really interesting information. And so they wanted to come and check things out. So the boys leave to go get a drink. And then a couple days later, they meet with the people, with the museum people at the Essence Corners. And that's where everything goes really crazy. And we end up in a very tense standoff at the end of the episode.
I think in this episode again, so it starts to like kind of open the world up a little bit more. We're learning about the Musée d'Essence. We have the Russians. Like there's
the Swiss.
The Swiss. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Maybe you should edit that just in case we offend any Russian people.
I think we're good.
You're good.
Russians are tough.
Okay, that's fine.
Like 8 people watch this, and none of them are Russian. We're good.
Yeah.
The one Russian guy's like, we're not always there.
You guys killed Apollo Creed. We got it.
Thanks for bringing up a sad movie.
Him and Old Yeller. All right, let's go.
I feel like I'm gonna watch Rocky this weekend, though.
There you go.
So, yeah, so it's great because it's like all of a sudden we just learned about the Essence Guard in the last episode. Now we're in the Essence Museum. Like, what the heck? Wow, the Essence is getting bigger, or our knowledge of the world.
It went international.
It went international. It's really exciting.
There were some really good questions this week, actually.
Yeah,
we got some really good stuff.
This got them going this week. It's from Kyron.
Yeah.
Said it right.
You did good.
Is Le Musée d'Essence based on a real museum?
No.
You know what? In preparation for this question, I went online to look up if there was any kind of like time travel related museum out there, and there really isn't. I feel like there's a market to be tapped.
Yeah.
That's your calling, Eric. Finally, you found it. You were wrong. This is your life path. Time travel.
That'd be cool.
I'll help you. I'll take the tickets.
There you go.
No, that's interesting that there's not, though. I think because maybe there's no time travel, or is there?
No, they just don't want you to know about it. If you made a museum, they would tear it down.
That's true.
No. Go back in time and keep it.
When he said they'd go back in time and they'd keep you from ever doing it. Well, John Connor, your ass.
So let's see. Suzanne says, I appreciate the Planet of the Apes reference and wonder if it's somehow a subtle hint at some of the larger mysteries throughout the story.
They actually are all apes.
Yes. I also love Planet of the Apes, so yeah.
I'm a huge Planet of the Apes fan.
Oh, me too. I love it so much. Like, I'm so nerdy for it.
I have all of the movies, all the new movies, the old movies. I have the cartoon series.
Oh, you have
the television series, the book.
set.
I'm a big fan. Actually, the video game on the PlayStation that most people don't even know exists.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get my box set after we're done talking and bring it in here and just show it and be like, I am a nerd too, Eric. I have the box set.
So you know what's terrible? Haven't seen any of the originals.
Oh,
I've only
we're having a watch party.
Right, and I'd be down for that. I only saw the two recent ones.
Oh.
I didn't see the third one. I think it was War for the Planet of the Apes.
yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, no, dude. I loved that first one. I love the second one. I was excited because I don't love campy stuff, so I was never excited to go back and watch the original ones.
That's a Rod Serling there, though, son.
I know. And I'm gonna have to go do it anyways because I remember when the Tim Burton one came out, I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll check that one out. And everyone's like, it's terrible. It's an abomination. I'm like, oh,
fun.
okay. Then I guess maybe I'm not supposed to get into it, but
still good. The makeup is amazing in Tim Burton's. If you like, it's just amazing. Because after that, we go into CG apes in the next incarnation. It's just the makeup is great in that one.
But yeah, so no, that was me just having a laugh, honestly.
So far.
Yes.
We don't rule anything out.
No, and that's the fun thing about when we write. Sometimes one of us just does something for fun and the other one decides, I'm going to play with that. And you're like, okay, cool.
Okay, so going back to wastes.
Yeah.
Suzanne is also intrigued by the idea of wastes. Why didn't the waste in the car hurt Tristan? Are they able to? Do they have tangible powers? They seem to be able to move matter or affect matter, solid objects.
Yeah.
At this moment, I would say from what we've shown you, their closest counterpart would be like a poltergeist.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And now, whether that's the reality or whether there's more to it, we haven't gone into yet, and you'll find out when you do. But yeah, at this point, I would say that's kind of the big thing. Somebody else had asked why this one's so strong, and of course, it's because of that connection. He had a lot to do with kind of making that one, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, say, the ones that Tim saw early on, Tim hadn't really played much with time, not purposefully, and there hadn't been a lot that he'd done. So he more saw them because he was connected to the essence, but he hadn't done anything yet to really create one, so to speak.
I love the waste because it's just kind of messed up. Like, I mean, like when you look at a lot of like some ghost theories and stuff, there's the residual hauntings and stuff where this moment in time being replayed. But like this is like a moment of time that didn't get to happen. That's happening, kind of.
Like the energy is still kind of there. It's kind of how I interpreted it from a paranormal point of view.
Yeah. Well, and the wastes, they were there as far as I know from the very that was always a part of the pitch.
Yeah.
When we originally a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, however long we were working on this, it was always a part of the pitch. The wastes were always there, and so that was always going to be a part of the story.
Yeah.
I like it. It adds to the mythology of the world. And it's like really in these last few episodes too, we're really seeing the world build out. And
also, I think this episode and the next episode, definitely, there's like stronger horror elements in that one. Like
huge.
That's just a lot of fun to work with, really.
Can't wait. I like that you guys are able to play with different genres and different elements within this same story.
Yeah.
And it flows and it doesn't feel forced or anything.
It was funny because I was on a show the other day, and I think they're airing it this weekend, and they do a podcast, and it's a sci-fi podcast.
Ooh.
And I was just talking with the guy because actually I think he might have asked some questions, or at least he talked to me. But his name's Aaron Poe, and he does an amazing podcast, the podcast From Below. Check it out, guys. His stuff is really awesome. He also has a sci-fi one. I'll look it up for you guys. Awesome dude. But he was talking to me all about the ramifications of it and whatnot. And he's like, and I ended up saying, like, should I be on the sci-fi show? And he said, oh, this is definitely sci-fi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. It's so funny. Like, I feel like we can be on so many different genre shows because we do span a lot. Like even in episode 10 ends up being very action heavy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's some new shows that we would be able to show that one on. So we really do play with a lot of stuff, and hopefully without making it feel like we pigeonholed it into that at any point or wedged it in.
Yeah, it's just naturally evolved into each of those as we've been writing.
So it just sounds like it's just very fun to write too, because you can jump into these different genres, even whether they were planned or not. But it just happens like organically. But seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of fun, we can come back to the Suzanne's stuff there, but the one moment that was fun was the Maggie Simpson moment.
Ooh.
We didn't talk about that. I think we should talk about that before we forget.
That's my favorite moment. Like when I wrote that, I was just like, that's the schemer in me. And for me, that it's funny, it's Maggie Simpson, but that was when I was talking earlier about how the two of us had tried to play with other movies and whatnot. And in this one, the movie that I wanted to play with a little bit was Return of the Jedi. And so where she shows off the watch and shows that it's Maggie Simpson, that was kind of the little, like, the nod between all the characters and the lightsaber popping up on R2-D2. Like, that was kind of the moment there where I was like, don't worry, I remember what happened. And so, yeah.
That was
well done. Thanks. That was definitely, and it's so funny because it's like, it's 2 lines, but out of like the like 4,000 words that are in there, those 2 lines were probably my favorite because to me, it really kind of, it gave up so much information without telling you a thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was fun.
And it opened up a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Which we like.
Yeah, like, where was she? Like, what happened? Where was she in the middle of that? And we're not going to find out for next season, perhaps.
Probably.
We might get some of that information in 10.
Okay.
I think we'd like to drop a little bit of that, but yeah, I don't see you getting her full story this season at all.
No.
I would like to see. I would like to know, but we'll find out.
You'll know.
I love that moment. It's just like it connects right back, and it's a good Simpsons moment. Simpsons. We have a question from Suzanne here. If there's an entire museum devoted to the Essence phenomenon, does this mean it's more widespread and there could be other families out there like the Edmonds?
That's a possibility.
Yeah. I'd say it's plausible.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about the Edmonds, let's go to a question from Kyron here. He says, I'm starting to get the feeling that the Edmonds aren't from this timeline. Like maybe the family came from a different time in the future and settled in this part of the time. Like time fugitives or something. Grandpa has missions for the boys to ensure time proceeds in a certain manner. This could mean Grandpa has access to knowledge of the future, either via time travel or he grew up there. Kind of like more of a comment.
I love Kyren so much.
Yeah.
And his questions really tell that he's listening. Like he's brought up a lot of stuff, and I'm like, some of them there's been some things that he said that it's been really close. Like I'm like, dude, he's almost there. And then there's other things he said where I'm like, I almost want to do that. Like, maybe we should have a discussion, and maybe, can we twist things a little bit? So that's I mean, obviously that's a discussion for season 2.
I'm like,
but
did he hit any? Did he hit any chords there? I should have been looking at you guys better as I was reading it.
Oh, girl, I'm the poker player. If you get something, good on you. You earned it.
And I just smile like an idiot all the time. So,
so are they from different timeline?
What's a timeline?
Oh, you're so good.
Fine. Kyron's. Oh wait, let's see. We got. Oh, we could go back to this one. This is a good one from Suzanne. This is something she said she just might have missed along the way. But at the end of the first chapter, Tim notices that the shopkeeper had received a message from somebody called EGB. Was it revealed who this is?
Yeah, so was it the last episode or the episode before that? The end of the episode before last, right? We revealed it. Yeah, because Barnabas texts him to come back to New York.
Yeah.
And in that moment, he signs it EGB.
Yeah, so that was the end of episode 6.
Yeah. So it was Essence Guard Barnabas, what it stands for.
Next question, Kyron. So many people with the same birthday. If they all had come from the future, they couldn't use their original birthday, so why not give everyone a generic birthday? So he's on there from a different time.
I like that. So I love that he's going there. To play devil's advocate to that one, wouldn't that feel obvious? A.
You pick a random date if that was the case, right?
Right? Like you pick a bunch of random dates. But also B, there literally was a baby born on the first, like just in like episode 2. So
episodes ago, yeah.
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 True.
So there's some validity to it at least. Yeah.
What is it with that birthday? You guys still haven't revealed anything.
Maybe we never will.
Probably.
We go straight up lost on you.
You know what's funny? Yeah, right.
Never say anything.
You know what's funny though? It's hilarious. I've gone back and I've watched some of the previous after shows, and I remember being like, "Oh, we're never gonna get the answer." And it's like, you have a lot of those answers now. Like, we did give you so many of those answers. So I mean, they're coming. And actually, I would say, season 1 offers up a lot of answers. Season 2, it's kind of one big answer, really.
Yeah.
It I would say from what we have planned and whatnot, season 2 is more of one great big answer.
I think it'll have a lot of more setups and reveals along the way, all leading to one big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have an idea how the birth date thing might end up being resolved, like how it'll be learned by the. But it'll be quite a while.
Oh, so you're not going to tell us. You're just going to say.
No.
That'd be terrible. Like, so this is how it happened, but don't worry, we're going to write it into episode 4 of season 2.
Exactly.
Actually,
but you guys, you know now.
At episode 10, so of season 2. So it's going to be a while.
So we have a question from Dan. I'm suspicious of Uncle Rick, his reasons for wanting them away. There's a warning. He's up to something funky. I'm a bit confused as to where Tristan went when he disappeared. and also pondering and why they didn't arrive at the appropriate time. But it's obvious someone doesn't want to. But it's obvious someone doesn't want them there because of a note at the end of chapter 4. Uncle Rick, we'll have to see.
Well, I mean, there is more to that moment that has already been seen as of like episode 7. And maybe even more to come. Tease, tease, tease. But yeah, I mean, obviously something is up with Rick.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just gotten bigger and bigger. And I would say, can I tease this one, buddy?
I trust you.
Dude, episode 9. Straight up. I mean, that's all I have to say. Yep. You get so much Rick in episode 9.
Yep. It really fleshes him out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Rick's story.
You know, in a lot of regards, yeah, or at least it's starring Rick.
Yeah.
A Rick heavy episode. I like it.
It's a very it's the Rickiest episode we've had yet.
Okay. So you guys did something a little fun the other day on social media?
Ooh, yeah. That was fun. I would say we probably got the most interaction to that we've gotten to anything we've done. And yeah. Eric's been awesome because Eric's always, we're both playing to our strengths. So Eric is really good at making up a lot of these social media posts and that kind of stuff. Whereas I'm a talking head, and I'm a whore, so I love to go on shows and talk about it. So we each play to our strengths, and he decided, hey, let's see, what your favorite time travel movie is. And that went up there, and that got an awful lot of engagement.
Yeah, so the options were Back to the Future, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Hot Tub Time Machine, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Somewhere in Time, and Donnie Darko.
I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I've never seen Somewhere in Time.
I haven't either, but I've heard good things.
It's one of my favorite movies, actually, of all time.
Okay, I'm familiar with it because it's got Christopher Reeve in it and Jane Seymour, so I remember that.
Wendy gave it a shout out too. She said it was a really good one.
Really good,
yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic.
So, which one did you pick?
So mine was definitely Somewhere in Time.
I chose Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Terminator 2 is such a good movie. Like, how is the second movie the greatest of all of them? Like, it's so good. And I remember
that was the first movie where we had to call a parent to come watch it with us because the theater wouldn't let us in.
I couldn't watch it, and all the other kids came into school the weekend after it came out, and they're talking about it, and I'm just like, I want to see it. My dad wouldn't let me see it in the theater. I had to wait till video.
I think I was like 11 or 12 when that movie came out. And so I think that came out 91 or something. And my dad loved science fiction movies and all that kind of stuff. He was way into that stuff. And he was just like, you need to watch this. And he said, you might not even be ready, but you got to watch this. And I'm like, okay. And I mean, as soon as T-1000 spikes through Auntie's throat, I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this, but okay.
You're like, no.
This is a really good movie. But that scared the crap out of me. And so, yeah, I mean, that movie always did it for me, even when I wasn't ready to watch it.
Yeah.
And I think it's aged really well too.
Yeah.
It's still, even you're like, okay, special effects are way better, but it doesn't matter. That movie, it aged really well.
It's still the best of that series, and there's 30 movies now.
Did you see the newest one, Terminator 40 or whatever?
I haven't seen it yet.
No, I like to. I haven't yet.
Yeah, Linda Hamilton returns, and so it's fun to see her back. You know, I think that's the best part of it.
I love the TV show.
Yes.
I need to
I think
go
we talked
back.
about that before. Yeah.
It's been a while. I watched it when it was on television.
Yeah, me too. I haven't seen it since, but it was really good.
Yeah. But my pick was Donnie Darko.
Ooh.
And I love Donnie Darko because I feel I love it anyways. Like, it's just a really cool movie. But also, it kind of plays a lot with how we've sort of played with time travel.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot of similar sentimentalities as far as what happened kind of deal. And so that was, and it's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's a really solid movie all the way through. Even when you don't know that it's a time travel movie, it was just really cool. And it just had that awesome twist at the end. So,
yeah, that was a great movie.
I think I watched it once because I think it depressed me, and I don't like movies that depress me.
yeah, it'll do that, but then it'll also make you go listen to the song "Mad World" over and over and over again.
I listened to Mad World, and like I want to drive around the city when it's all empty and listen to like Mad World.
Yeah.
So the results of the poll, Back to the Future, like overwhelmingly won, which I expected that.
I almost chose that because that was like one of my favorite movies.
I mean, of all those movies, that's like the most fun. Like, it's probably the one you could toss in anytime and just have. I just watched it with my son like a couple weeks ago. He saw it for the first time.
Oh, does he like it?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I haven't shown him the other two yet, but we'll get to them.
Yeah,
they're so good.
So that one, 51 votes between all the posts, all the sharing and stuff.
Shoot. So that's like the overwhelming.
Yeah, Terminator 2 got 13. So
Terminator 2.
Bill and Ted got 12. So there's a lot of Bill and Ted love.
I like Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
The movies are great, and I'm excited for the third one. So, then Donnie Darko was 4th, and then Somewhere in Time was number 5. And then Hot Tub Time Machine was number 4.
I like Hot Tub Time Machine, though.
It's hilarious.
I just felt like it couldn't win the vote for me.
No.
But it's one of my favorite time travel comedies.
Yeah.
There were some good ones that people threw in, though, like that. They mentioned them. So Time Bandits got mentioned a bunch.
Yeah.
What did?
Endgame got mentioned, which I like. Completely, of course, it's huge in a lot of ways. It's a massive time travel movie.
Yeah.
So that got thrown in there. There was a couple others, weren't there?
Yeah, I think Looper, was one that was used.
I loved Looper.
I didn't like Looper because of the
Looper
handy thing going on that grossed me out so bad I couldn't watch it after. I was like, no, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt looked weird as a what's his nuts.
As Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis, yes.
I honestly loved it. I loved his transformation. I loved the way he kind of changed the affectations of his voice and his mannerisms and whatnot. That one was a winner for me.
Time Cop.
Oh yeah, Time Cop was mentioned.
I love Time Cop. Love Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I don't think I saw that one.
You haven't seen Time Cop?
Jean-Claude kind of fell off for me after a while. Like, there was a point where I'm like, I've seen all of his movies. This is a new one. I've seen all of his movies.
Yeah. I would do a new one.
Watch them. Oh my god, I would be like, yes, a new Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Tease it or don't tease it?
Oh, we'll tease it.
We teased it a little bit, but Eric, this one's your baby. Actually, I'm going to do a mini tease before his tease. And my mini tease is that the weird thing about 9 is that it was written and finished before 8.
Wow.
I had already been working on 8, and I was partway into it. And I will tell you, as a fan, I am also a fan of this show because when Eric writes it, I don't 100% know what's going on. And I will tell you that 8 is only a good episode because I listened to 9 and was blown the F away and went, I got to bring my A game if I'm going to come even close to matching that stuff over there. So if you loved 8, it's because 9 in my mind was so good that I had to work my way up to that. So that's my teaser.
I appreciate that too.
It's true story, honestly.
Yeah. So I don't really like. So 9, like we talked about, 9 gets a little rickier than previous episodes. It reveals a lot of what's up with Rick, to be honest, and also touching on some other important aspects of the Edmonds family and even the Essence Guard. You do learn who was the head of the Essence Guard before Barnabas, and you meet Edmonds that haven't had scenes yet. So that's as much as I'll say.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys are, honestly, I had a blast with that one. You guys are really going to have a good time with it.
And it does up the horror. And like, I listened to it again yesterday, and listening to like the sound effects towards the end. I mean, throughout, I think I did a good job, but the ending, like, it's haunting. Like, it's chilling.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I'm like, you guys are like on fire right now, and then the season's over.
It's just starting to get good.
I can finally start to sleep again.
Who needs sleep? I'm just kidding.
Right.
Shall we?
Shall.
Thank you for joining us for episode 8 of the Essence House After Show.
Thank you.
Thanks. We had fun.
Yeah, good times.